Hey guys, welcome back to Caden's Corner. The NFL draft is 1 month away, and most of the pro days took place this week. Alabama had its pro day on Thursday, and the scouts were out to see Bryce Young. Young is the projected second overall pick and second quarterback taken off the board in the 2023 NFL draft. But no one would be surprised if he went first overall after his sensational college career. Bryce Young has been in the football spotlight for a while. Young was a 5-star and the #1 player in the 2020 class coming out of high school. Then at Alabama, he continued his tear, winning the 2021 Heisman while setting the school single-season record for passing yards and touchdowns. He also added a national championship to his resume in 2020 and was a Heisman finalist last season. At the Combine, he measured in at 5'10 and 1/8, the same height as Kyler Murray. Pros. Arguably his most impressive trait is his ability to extend plays. The play is never dead with Young, and he's a flat-out playmaker. Starting in the LSU game, 3rd and 10, down 2 with less than 5 minutes in the fourth. The Crimson Tide out of field goal range, in need of a massive conversion. The Tigers aren't going to let Bryce Young sit back there and pick him apart, so they bring a blitz. They have him in a straitjacket. He tries to take off out the side. The linebacker closes that gap. Young hits the brakes, avoiding 3 defenders, and finds his man wide open down the field for a touchdown. A game-changing play made by number 9 and no one else. Hopping over to the Vanderbilt game, Bama up 28 in the third. Vandy simulates pressure through the B and C gap. The linebacker splits right through the tackle and guard. With the defender bearing down on Young at full speed, he's able to take a short scramble right and heave this ball to his receiver. A beautiful off-platform throw while on the run to avoid the sack. Staying in this game and actually the very next play, Vandy sends another linebacker blitz, which the guard isn't able to pick up. Young, 2 hands on that football, dips and breaks the blitzer's ankles. He rolls out left and watch him flip those hips and get a great spin on that ball for another first down. Play 4 of Young's playmaking. Bama at Ole Miss deep in the red zone, 3rd and goal. Ole Miss gives him nowhere to go with this ball. Young feels the pressure up the middle and rolls out right. The QB spy takes off after him, so Young hits him with the hezzy, buying just enough time to flip this in the back of the end zone for a touchdown. On the run, over the underneath defender's hand, an absolute dime. Bama going for 2 to extend their lead to 6. The Tigers get a free rusher off the right side, and again, should be another easy sack. Young hits him with the leaving the defender in his dust. He steps up and throws a laser that his receiver is unable to come up with. Along with being a lead at extending plays, Bryce Young is amazing throwing under pressure. He showed this on multiple plays in their bowl game against Kansas State. K-State is playing a cover 0, meaning they're bringing the house. Young's anticipation and accuracy on this throw are brilliant. Look where his receiver is when he begins his windup. Perfect throw in the end zone for a touchdown. This angle gives a better appreciation for this throw. Young is unable to step into it and puts it right in the receiver's breadbasket. Throughout this game, the Wildcats continuously blitzed, and Bryce Young was unfazed. Bama up 4 with 30 seconds left in the second quarter in enemy territory, trying to put up points on the board before halftime. K-State brings a blitz with a man-to-man single high safety. The pocket starts to close around Young. He finds his man over the middle for a big play inside the red zone. The final play in this game where he just destroyed this blitz was late in the 3rd quarter. The Wildcats are playing another single high man-to-man blitz on 3rd down. Pre-snap, Young points out where the pressure is coming from for his running back to pick up. He drops back, casually steps to his right away from the blitz, and hits his man for a touchdown. His ability to diagnose and read the defense is a part of what makes him so special. Bryce Young being extremely smart pre-snap allows him to be so calm when facing pressure. LSU is running a cover 0. As the linebackers creep up, Young takes control of the line of scrimmage and calls out of protection. Bama's only blocking 5 up front to LSU's 6, so he needs to get this ball out fast. He hangs in the pocket long enough to hit his running back on the angle route for a huge play. Young excels in diagnosing the game, slowing it down, and being unfazed by pressure, but he does a great job of tying it all together with his accuracy. This was my favorite Bryce Young throw of the year, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Back to the bowl game against Kansas State, right at a halftime. Bama runs a play action, and Young has a beautiful pocket to throw from. He fires this ball in the back of the end zone where only his guy can make a play on it. This angle makes this throw look even more nuts. Perfectly in stride in the back corner, right out of the reach of the DB. Back over to the Ole Miss game inside the red zone. Bama trailing by 10 in the second quarter on 3rd down. On the top side, they are running a levels concept with the number 3 receiver running the corner. On the short side, the tight end is running a quick dig. Young waits for his tight end, Latu, to clear the linebacker and darts this ball in between 3 defenders. To the Iron Bowl we go for where to go with this ball. Instead of throwing this in front of his receiver, he tosses it back shoulder and puts it right on the money. His receiver couldn't come up, keeps his eyes downfield, and hits his man in stride for a massive play. The final thing that really stood out to me was Bryce Young's quick release. The Crimson Tide are down 10-0 in the first half. Linebackers creep up and play the run, then Young will pull it out and hit the slant. But if the linebackers stay back and play the pass, then he hands the ball off. He keeps it in the ball carrier's arms as long as possible, notices the linebackers moving up, and hits the slant while getting drilled. But let's look at how quickly he gets this ball out. No wasted motion, that ball is cocked back and out in the blink of an eye. Bryce Young's release is one of the fastest in the class, if not the fastest. Young takes a quick drop and this ball flies out of his hand on the slant route. Against Vandy, Young takes his drop and scans the right side of the field, looks to his left, and fires this ball in the dig. His release is so smooth and quick. Let's go to where Bryce Young struggles. Obviously, the most concerning part of his game is his measurables. I'm not going to sit here and play a compilation of his passes getting batted down at the line of scrimmage for my reasoning as to why his height will affect him. Let's jump over to this Auburn game. Alabama's up big in the fourth quarter. The Tide come out in a 5 wide with everyone running quick hitches. Young is targeting his tight end on his man-to-man matchup. He goes to throw this ball right out of his break, but let's stop the tape here. Do you really think Bryce Young can see over this? The answer is he can't. This ball comes out inaccurate and gets picked off. This is also how I know he couldn't see, the way he has to move his head to see what happened. Staying in the game, Latu, the tight end, comes in motion, with the DB following him, giving away that Auburn is playing man. Young throws the wheel route to his running back that is wide open, and he misses him high. But let's check out this throwing alley. The offensive lineman is in his throwing lane and causes this ball to come out higher than normal. Back to the LSU game, Young is going to be targeting his tight end again on the corner route, and this ball comes out super inaccurate. Young is winding up at this point in the route. He doesn't have a clear view of the receiver, and this ball soars over his head. Bryce Young is so great at extending plays, but at times, he holds the ball way too long and bad things happen. In the LSU game, he did this the most. First play inside the red zone, he doesn't have anywhere to go with the ball, so it makes sense to why he's holding on to it. He climbs up in the pocket, fakes the scramble, and at the last second, flips it around the defender to try and hit the slant route, and it ends up getting picked. Ball security in the red zone is the most important thing, and I'm sure he got an earful from Saban. Staying in the game, Alabama is backed up deep in their end zone. LSU is going to simulate pressure with the corner. Young is going to have his tight end streak wide open over the middle of the field. He doesn't take it and scrambles for a minimal gain. Later in the game, 3rd down and 10, the Tide down 5 points in the 4th. The Tigers defense does a great job of giving Young nowhere to go with this football. He's able to avoid the sack in the pocket and roll out left. With no one open on the scramble drill, you gotta throw this football out of bounds and stay in field goal range. Instead, he takes a sack and a very unnecessary hit. With 30 seconds left in the game, Bama down 3 in field goal range. LSU's going to run a cover 0. The running back isn't able to pick up the free rusher, and Young has a defender bearing down on him. Young is going to have his hot over the middle wide open and practically throws it away on the double move. Early in the Sugar Bowl, the Tide down 3-0, 2nd and 10 at midfield. Alabama is going to run a scissors concept with the number 2 and number 3 receiver. Young drops and glances at the corner, then stares down the post to see if it will open up. Meanwhile, the entire right side of the field is wide open. He doesn't read that side of the field, dances around in the pocket, and takes a sack. Later in the K-State game, 3rd quarter, Bama up 22, 2nd down and 8. If you couldn't tell, Bill O'Brien loves the empty look. Young communicates with his line as the Wildcats show blitz, putting 5 guys in the box. He drops and doesn't like his first read. He then takes off and scrambles right, only picking up 2 yards. Young is going to have 3 quicks wide open right out of their break. Along with having severely below average measurables, Bryce Young's arm strength concerns me. This is the last play of this Kansas State game that I'm going to show. Back to their drive in the 1st quarter. Burton gets behind the defense and Young has him wide open. With only a 3-man rush and a clean pocket, he underthrows him by 5 yards easily. In the Auburn game, he made a very similar play. The Tide driving before half. Young is able to draw them off sides with his hard count, so he gets a free play. Ja'Cory Brooks gets behind the defense and should have a walk-in touchdown. Young from a clean pocket severely underthrows him and it goes incomplete. In the Vanderbilt game, 10 seconds left in the half. Bama is going to take a shot in the end zone. They're going to run a 4 verticals out of a 3-by-1 look. Ball is snapped and Young immediately stares down where he's going to go with this ball. Doesn't even try to look the safety off for a millisecond. He slightly underthrows this ball and the receiver has to come back to it. It didn't matter because the safety was able to make a play because Bryce Young didn't look him off. In the LSU game, 2 minutes left before halftime, down 7-3 in the third quarter. The Tigers blitz Young again, and the pocket closes fast. He's targeting the dig over the middle that's wide open. He's not able to rip this pass to his receiver for the third down conversion. If Bryce Young, the current mock draft, I have Stroud at 1 and Bryce Young at 2. This season, we saw a significant drop-off from Young's stats. In 2021, when he won the Heisman, he had 2 first-round caliber receivers in Jamison Williams and John Mechie. His receiving core this year was significantly worse, and I don't think he played as well. But I have major concerns for whatever team drafts him because they are taking a massive risk. His measurables alone put him at a significant disadvantage. Can Young's body take these brutal and battering hits at only 5'10" and 194 pounds? He's been compared to Mahomes for a spectacular ability to extend plays and crazy arm-angled throws, but can he use these traits to overcome his size? I think his lack of size and arm strength will catch up to him in the league. Bryce Young will end up being a bust in the league. I'm Caden Kubler, and that's my take.